Hello, everyone. Welcome to Chic Happens, the bi-weekly podcast where fashion meets fun, hosted by me, Celine Manor. Whether you are a style maven or looking for your fashion fix, Chic Happens will keep you in the loop. So grab your cocktails and let's chat, because in fashion, as in life, chic happens. On today's episode, has Vogue found its new editor-in-chief? Taylor Swift reveals her first visuals for Life of a Showgirl. Jenna Ortega's looks for Wednesday's press tour. SKIMS comes out with a face wrap. Ariana Grande is back with Law Roach. And Anna Wintour's last Vogue cover. We have a lot to go over today. I hope everyone had a fantastic past couple of weeks. I know I did. I went to the Kesha concert, which was honestly just so incredible. It was the last show, so if you're listening to this and you're like, oh my God, I want to go to the Kesha concert, I don't think it's possible anymore, babies. But definitely was such a huge throwback. Kesha was huge when I was, I think maybe 7th grade until all the way into high school. And I remember she had so many bangers for all of her homecomings. It was absolutely incredible seeing her live and just hearing all of those live for the first time. I felt like I was almost going back into high school. And do you know, whenever you feel like you do something and you're just kind of redoing it, or you're feeding, I guess, that inner child, that's kind of how it felt. It was so fun to just dress up and kind of go back. Ooh, and it is lightning out there. Oh my God. I hope the the mic does not pick that up. I feel like it's going to, so please ignore that. But it was super fun coming up with a conceptual outfit for Kesha. I remember back then the whole indie sleaze core, really heavy eye makeup, just kind of dripping down, the messy curls a la I guess Kesha during the time. Also, Blake Lively and Gossip Girl with her hair just unkept and wavy. Oh my God. It was just really fun channeling that. I haven't posted pictures from it yet, unfortunately. Also, my Instagram's private anyways currently. I don't really see the reason to change that. But it was super fun. I will say that. So if she ever has another concert in the future, highly, highly recommend. She's fantastic live. She has a great voice. She has a great stage presence. She's so wonderfully weird. It's just I don't know. I just felt my inner weirdness was just getting on with her inner weirdness on stage. And it was just a great time, except for the fact that it was at the Mid-Florida Credit Union Amphitheater. I don't know, I'm just going to give the full legal name. And the hurricane last year had completely knocked off all of the covering. So it was raining and we were getting absolutely soaked. And the reason why I haven't posted pictures yet is I'm kind of on the fence with how my hair looks, because it's just absolutely soaked through. But I don't know, maybe actually now that I'm thinking about it, it adds a little bit into that whole indie sleaze thing. But anyways, just on that note, let's go into our first headline. So there is a new Vogue editor-in-chief, maybe. We actually don't know yet. Turns out Chloe Malle is the frontrunner to take over Anna Wintour's role in Vogue as she exits from editor-in-chief. Just in case you guys don't know, Malle is the daughter of actress Candice Bergen and Louis Malle, who is a French film director, and she is currently the editor of Vogue.com. So not a very different step into that direction. She's already in that world. She's already editing the website itself. Rumor has it she is in the final rounds of interviews to be the new head of editorial content for US Vogue. So the new editor should be officially announced by the beginning of New York Fashion Week, which starts September 11th and runs through September 16th. And there's thought to be currently 4 to 5 candidates. This is actually really exciting. I had heard rumors that maybe it was Eva Chen. If you guys don't know Eva Chen, I was absolutely obsessed with her a few years ago. I'm still low-key a little obsessed with her, but back when I was trying to figure out my path in life, she was who I wanted to emulate. So it was super, super into her. But basically, if you don't know who she is, she used to be the editor-in-chief of Lucky magazine. And additionally, currently she works at Meta. So she's a part of that fashion division. I think she actually runs the the fashion content in Meta. And I was really hoping maybe she would be the editor-in-chief just because I like her so much. She's such a likable person. But I knew that it probably wasn't going to happen because of, how big her role is at Meta, and she's probably making bank. So, who needs like the high stress of being editor-in-chief and all of that scrutiny that like comes with it. So I don't think, it's definitely not going to be her, but I'm really excited to see Chloe Malle. Chloe Malle is younger, which I think could be really beneficial. She's 39 years old. And I don't know, I feel like it could be nice to have a younger voice, someone more on the pulse. Looking like through her Instagram currently, she has about like 50,000 followers, which if she does become the editor-in-chief, that's definitely going to skyrocket. But so far currently, honestly, like I really like her vibes. Like I don't know, she looks like she might be a good pick, but I guess we'll see when that happens. I think a lot of eyes are on it. A lot of people have been waiting for Anna Wintour to just, abdicate her role eventually, which I understand, and when it's one person kind of leading the whole thing for decades, it does start to feel a little bit stale. But Anna Wintour's is still there. She's still a part of Condé Nast. So she hasn't really gone anywhere. She's just not going to be the editor-in-chief anymore. So this starts a new era for Vogue. I really hope Chloe Malle just kind of steps into it and makes it her own. Because to be quite frank, it would be really disappointing if after decades being under one person, it just sort of gets transferred to another person and then it continues to be the same thing. I don't think that's what anyone wants to see. But yeah, like let me know if you guys have any like sort of gripes that you have with Vogue currently. I sort of think that they don't push the envelope as much as Teen Vogue does. Like I remember when I was in college or even like younger, I used to read Vogue because there were so many interesting articles just on politics, but also just very interesting people, and sort of like their roles and like their different niches. And I don't know, it just opened me up to like a whole new world. So I'm really hoping that whoever steps in and takes on this role kind of pushes into a new way where we can get like new, I guess like new insight, like new direction, new creative approaches, just exposed to new things, because that's really what the point I think of a fashion magazine is to expose people to new things. So I guess we'll see. We're actually going to talk a little bit later in the episode about the first Vogue cover, but we will leave it at that. I'm just excited to see who's going to take over. But for our next headline, Taylor Swift reveals first visuals of new album out October 3rd, Life of a Showgirl. Okay, guys, when I saw these pictures, I was like, damn, like mommy, oh my God. Okay, this is a fashion podcast. We're gonna keep it in fashion. Like I love me some Taylor Swift, but let's kind of focus more on what she's wearing. But just needless to say, she looks fantastic. I don't think she's ever looked hotter. And she's sort of flirted with this aesthetic before, but I think she really nailed it on the head. But essentially, the cover art, which Taylor posted multiple variations of, were shot by Matt Ellis and Marcus Piggott. The main cover featuring her like partially submerged in water, wearing a crystalline bralette and scallop diamond chains by Area, and a diamond bangle by Italian luxury jewelry brand Zyto. She is a mirror ball on this cover. For those that don't know, she has a song called Mirror Ball, where basically it's like, I can be, whoever you want. I have all these different things that I reflect back to you that you project onto me, and I can be that person. And it's just really interesting because that's how the cover art is broken up. It's like pieces of her sort of fragmented around herself. So all these tiny diamonds on her outfit reflecting light surrounded by fragments of herself, which ties into this dichotomy between brazen entertainer and vulnerable songwriter, which it kind of seems like that's what the album is going for. And in another picture, she wears a short black bob worn alongside a costume with pink ostrich feathers, which is my personal favorite because ooh, do I love a showgirl. I love a showgirl, the outfits, the feathers. Oh my God. Like I had a birthday where it was like a murder mystery. Not to get too off topic, but it was kind of like the same thing. Like I had like on this satin like pink dress. I had like the boa. I had the black bob, like the diamond like headdress. It's just, I absolutely love this look. And it is a custom look by The Blondes, which if you don't know, that is a luxury apparel brand based in NYC, co-founded by designers Philippe Blonde and creative director David Blonde. So they've styled Lady Gaga before, Beyonce, Miley Cyrus, and many more. She also has on a Renee Calavilla chandelier sandals, which are absolutely gorgeous. They wrap around her legs and they're very serpentine, which kind of, goes back to the Reputation era. Another photo shows her in a burgundy bodysuit, which is also by the Blondes, and fishnet tights. There's like a darkness to some of these pictures. There's definitely a romantic goth aesthetic that's super in right now, which we will talk about later, a la Jenna Ortega's Wednesday press run. But even this pic of her, there's one where she's crawling over these theater seats and it's very like spooky and sexy and there's very harsh lighting. And while she's flirted with this like showgirl aesthetic before, like I've said, this might be the most revealing she's ever been. Her stylist, Joseph Castle Falconer, knew what he was doing. I'm really excited to see more looks from this era. Other things that aren't necessarily like fashion, what she's wearing, but like stylistic choices that I think might be reflected in the future with her future styling. A lot of the color palette for this new era is orange and light green, which weirdly reminds me of the Statue of Liberty. I'm not the first person to say that, so I'm not going to coin that. But it really stuck out for me. I forgot where I read it or heard it from, but stay with me. She has on, there's like the bright copper of the Statue of Liberty, right? Like when it first was created, which over time like oxidized, shifting into like this mint green color. So those are the two colors that she's sort of using, which is twofold. So she loses her luminosity, whether it's because she's been in the industry so long and has to compete with younger, shiny new entertainers, or just the state of being a public figure, especially with her Reputation era and the surrounding drama taking a toll on her mentally. However, as copper oxidizes, it actually protects the rest of the metal from deteriorating, like her gaining resilience over the years. So this dichotomy exists within Swift, who is a complex, shimmering yet fragmented figure, and I think we can all attest to that, whether you love her or hate her. She's very complex, she's not simple. She's also stated that this duality of fame is reflected in the new album, inspired by her Eras Tour Inner Life. So remember the lyrics, all the pieces of me shattered as the crowd was chanting more. Very reminiscent of that. I'm so excited to see the outfits because I will admit, okay, this is, I'm a Swiftie, like I said before, do not attack me. But I will have to say that like recently I have not liked her looks. I think I was really into her looks like a la 2012 up until 2016, like sort of again that Tumblr era. Like if you guys can't tell, I spent a majority of my teenager years on Tumblr. I think I had quite a few pictures of her as like outfit inspo, like back when she was like Twee Taylor. I think she just pulled it off so well, like the mini skirts, the plaid, the boots, like, oh, the Jeffrey Campbells. She was that girl during that era. And I think like along the way, maybe like, I think it started genuinely with her Lover era where she gained a little bit of weight. And I think in an effort to disguise that, instead of creating like these looks that matched her new figure, it's as if they were trying to like cover her up. And I think maybe this also kind of went into the Reputation era thing. Like they were just drowning her in these really unflattering looks. And I don't ever really think she recovered from that point on. A lot of her like streetwear has been really hit or miss for me particularly. There are a few that I really, really liked. But and I do like that she is an every woman. Like she's not particularly, the person who's like vying for that like high fashion spot among celebrities. And that's like part of her appeal. She's very relatable, right? So I totally get that. But also though, I think that the thing is like she's sort of done these looks before, and I think that she's really like, she looks so strong and healthy in these pictures, and I think that the outfits are really reflecting that. It really looks like she's so comfortable in what she's wearing. It fits her well. It's well tailored for her body. And I love that. I think that's really the most important part of fashion is that, you feel confident and comfortable in what you're wearing. And that's exactly what it looks like. She looks honestly so hot. Like she looks so hot. I really am looking forward to seeing her street style in this era, and also seeing like what she wears for like award shows, maybe music videos. So we'll reconvene, guys. We'll come back. We'll come back to this. Like there's many more to come. All right. Our next headline, Jenna Ortega's press looks for Wednesday. Jenna Ortega's press looks for her Netflix show Wednesday are so fresh and polished and goth inspired. Like, just to like kind of go into it, obviously goth is like not a new genre of anything, of media, of fashion. It's been pretty popular, I think, consistently for many decades. But Jenna Ortega's looks that I have been seeing are so delectable. Like there is something so like modern about them, not at all childish or conventional or like even, I guess, cartoonish, because what you would expect with her TV show. It's so mature and so wonderful that I think that her stylist deserves a raise, because she looks fantastic and she's bringing something new with every look. It's not just like, hey, this is Wednesday. It's you know, obviously, you know, if you're living under a rock, like everyone knows who Wednesday is. It's not just like, let's do this Wednesday like gothic aesthetic. She's taking sort of like inspiration from all of these other like niches and making them something completely brand new. So for example, she had on Givenchy at the Netflix photo call from Sarah Burton's Fall Winter 2025 collection. So just imagine, we start at London's Natural History Museum for Netflix's Wednesday photo call. Ortega lounges around in the museum in Givenchy a la Sarah Burton. She has on a balconette leather bra matched with a sleek pencil skirt, puffed leather gloves, and chain link cuffs, and most notably, no eyebrows. No eyebrows in sight, replaced instead with heavy makeup to contour her already big eyes, okay? The difference between hot and haute, this is it, people. Men hate it. The girls and the gays love it, especially on someone with bone structure like Jenna Ortega. So where like the strong contours of her face and the makeup are enough to do the heavy lifting, even without her eyebrows to frame her face. And what makes her press runs so iconic is how she just pivots between like that fresh, polished, goth-inspired looks, never relying entirely on nostalgia or what people are expecting. For her New York press day, she wore a dark gray three-piece suit by Anna Demeulemeester. Please show me grace with that one. Oversized but structured, pinstriped suit with like a delicate sheer black blouse with flowing these 70s style sleeves. It's that touch of that delicate femininity rounding out the tailored masculinity of the suit. Like those sleeves peeking out beneath the structure is just so beautiful. She doesn't just like float in that stereotypical dark colors. In London, she also wears like this serpentine cream colored gown, like she's shedding her snake skin. And then in Seoul, she dons a more whimsigoth ensemble by Simone Roca. She wears this like acid green bodysuit featuring more of this toothy, haunting like painting by Genevieve Figgis. Lady with a bird paired with this like black tweed and tulle layered skirt and this Y2K punk hair. So she's bringing like all sorts of different inspiration from different like sub niches of goth. Jenna's stylist since she was 14, actually, Enrique Melendez, acknowledged you can only do so much without being too predictable and monotonous. So to maintain these invigorating looks with each event, he played around with these subcategories such as shape and fabrication of a look. So exactly what we're talking about. Ortega's stylist direction for this press tour is just this continuation of gothic romance's stronghold this past year. Culturally, we've seen it in Nosferatu, Beetlejuice, Wicked's Alphaba, even sprinkles of it in Dior's Spring-Summer 2025 Haute Couture show by Maria Grazia Chiuri. There's empowerment and beauty in this unconventional and edgy style, especially during this time of economic downturn and political unrest. The popularity of Ortega's style showcases the current prevailing fight against like this old money clean girl ballet core aesthetic that we've been seeing on TikTok and other forms of social media. We know that, you know, conservatism and fascism is sort of on the rise, I guess, depending on who you ask. I think we can all agree, though, that conservatism itself is on the rise for sure. We are seeing some tough times economically. And during these times, we've also seen, I guess, back in like 2008, like this more simplistic, no logos sort of fashion that like comes around. And so this dressing up in something that's not conventional, that's not traditional, is a big it's a big FU, honestly, to the establishment currently. I love these looks. I think it makes so much sense that there's like sort of this counterculture that's like in the forefront right now going against these looks. Again, like I said in the beginning of the episode, the sleaziness of like Kesha too, just like emulating that style. And if you want this style, I would suggest focusing on the more romantic and dramatic elements of it. Like focus on those rich, moody jewel tone color palettes, antique or Baroque style jewelry, more like sheer layers, intricate and delicate fabrics. Also seek inspo from more niche sub-branches of the goth aesthetic. Like there's cyber goth, there's gothabilly, there's whimsigoth. There's so many different things that you can sort of take your inspiration from. If you feel like maybe your look is getting a little too stagnant, or maybe it is just a little too stereotypically goth, like, and you want to go towards something a little different, I think it's really interesting and well worth looking into those different sub niches. So love that, especially with autumn and spooky season coming. I really hope I see a lot more people sort of embracing this style as we go into, like, in my opinion, those more romantic, cooler, darker months. All right, next up, the SKIMS face wrap. Kim K revitalizes the morning shed trend. SKIMS recently comes out with a seamless sculpt face wrap retailing for $48. It comes in one size and two colors, clay and cocoa. The product details on the site states that the face wrap consists of their signature sculpting fabric and features collagen yarns for ultra soft jaw support. Velcro enclosures at the top and nape of the neck allow for easy everyday wear. And despite the criticism, surprise, surprise, it's sold out. Of course. Is this a sign of peak dystopian femininity? I do often wonder when the morning shed trend kind of started on TikTok, basically a beauty and skincare trend where people would apply multiple layers of products before bed, including like a sheet mask, chin straps, mouth tape. There was just a lot going on. There's so much going on. And it brought up sort of this conversation of like, why are we doing all this? First of all, does it even do anything? Second of all, why are we putting this much effort into a time where we're supposed to be relaxed and comfortable and sleeping in order to conform to these traditional beauty standards? And look, I'm a girl that loves sheet masks. I think I spend so much money on makeup, on skincare, but there's just like a certain level where we're like, should we really go there? Do we really want to like normalize this for everybody? I don't know. I mean, it's just like this collective question of how necessary is it for women to spend not only their money, but their time in these intricate and seemingly uncomfortable routines in order to conform to traditional beauty standards. Necessary being like the important word there, especially considering that men don't do these things themselves. And Kim K isn't the first to think of this. So Japan has been selling face slimming masks already, some of which purport to result in that coveted V shape that's super popular in Asia and K-pop, especially like among idols, which needless to say. So let's say you're interested. Does it even work? Like, should you spend the $48? Well, Dr. Ava Shambin, in an article on Birdie by Victoria Hoff titled Face Slimming Masks, Do They Really Create the Ideal Face Shape?, says that the results are temporary. I quote, they are an intensified delivery system for actives that will permanently lift, tighten, and improve one's profile. See the important word being temporary. So it goes away. Lymphatic specialist Flavia Lanini, who counts Kardashian as many of her starry clients, explains that the wrap's design is based on the facial compression garments used in medical settings. Those are designed to apply gentle, even pressure across the face to reduce post-surgical swelling and support healing after procedures like facelifts, buccal fat removal, or chin liposuction, Lanini says. Wearing this type of mask can support the lymphatic system, especially when used with intention. And Lanini states in Vogue's article, I wore the SKIMS face wrap for a weekend. Here's what happened by Margot and Booba. She continues, for general use, I don't recommend relying on the garment without a full understanding of what the body needs. Supporting the lymphatic system requires a broader approach, hydration, movement, breathing, and manual techniques. Not only are the results temporary, similar to doing lymphatic massages like gua sha, but there are additional concerns like bacteria and sweat getting trapped in the tight fabric during multiple hours of sleep. This reminds me of when people were doing gua sha and they genuinely thought that they were changing the structure of their face. Like, you're not. Your bones are your bones. They are where they are. Your fat is your fat. Typically, people can see swelling when they sleep and they wake up, very normal, especially at a certain age. So things like gua sha, maybe like this masks they're good for, again, giving you temporary results. They're not going to last forever. They're not changing the composition of your face. But what they are doing is they are draining your lymph nodes, and that can provide a slimmer look to your face. But I don't know, $48 or just keep using your gua sha. I mean, it's your money. You can decide what you want to do with it. I personally am not going to be rushing to buy this face mask. I just don't really get the point. Honestly, I would rather save up my money and get liposuction. So our next story, Ariana Grande and the styling war between Law Roach and Mimi Cottrell. Are we on our way back to high ponytails and thigh-high boots again? No, I don't know. But Ariana has enlisted Law Roach's stylist services for the first time since 2020. So previously, Ariana had been styled by Law Roach during her My Everything era in 2014, all the way through her Dangerous Woman and Sweetener tours. He even created the visual around the pop star Ariana. So that look that you guys are so familiar with, that, you know, when she propelled to stardom and made her easily recognizable, is that high ponytail, the oversized sleeves, the thigh-high boots. I mean, we got a bunch of memes about the sleeves as well. He's the one who introduced her to Vera Wang, who then made a custom dress for her for the 2018 Met Gala from 2017 to 2018, which Ariana collaborated with. So Roach had been Grande's stylist until she hired Mimi Cottrell in 2020. Now, Cottrell started working for Grande in mid-2020. She selected all the looks featured in her Positions era, notably that green long-sleeved crop and mini skirt with the 60s styling. She continued to style Grande, notably for the entire seasons that Ariana was a judge on The Voice, and she also styled Grande for her wedding with a custom-made Vera Wang dress. So just to recap, Law Roach was the one who was instrumental on her coming up. That's a big part of a stylist job. They create a brand image to stand out from everyone else, to create an iconic image that's just easily recognizable, which he did, and I think he deserves his flowers for that. He created that iconic Ariana Grande look. Law Roach even said, "I always say if you put Ariana behind a screen and you just see her silhouette, as soon as the backlight comes up, you know it's her." He considers Grande's signature to be iconic. "She came to me with the ponytail and thigh-high boots with that DNA. I didn't change a thing. Our collaboration is her way of saying, this is my look, this is who I am, and I want to be the best, most elevated Ariana." Now, of course, there's some discourse on who was better, because of course there is. We can't just attribute a certain styling to different eras of an artist. We have to compare them, don't we? Mimi Cottrell came in more towards when Ariana was kind of foraying into her movie roles. I mean, I guess it was a little bit before then, around 2020, she started off in The Voice, but she definitely started taking her style into a completely different direction as she grew as an artist, which makes sense. I love Mimi Cottrell's looks. Some notable ones, especially the Positions music video fits. And one gripe I have with Law Roach's looks is that they definitely made Ariana look very small. I think that Cottrell just understands her proportions better. Now, a lot of the fits that Law Roach put her in are very iconic. They're amazing. He's a fantastic stylist. He's honestly one of the best. But I think that you can really tell the difference when you look at certain people that he styles. Like, for example, Zendaya. He's very, very good with Zendaya's body, her proportions, whereas Ariana just kind of looks like a bobblehead, kind of drowning in her clothes. And to be fair, a lot of people have said that was the style of the time. It was very popular during that time. I mean, everyone was wearing like oversized everything. Also, Ariana's just a very tiny woman, so it's very easy for her to look almost childish. I don't know if you guys remember when she was performing at that one awards show, and Rihanna was just like laughing at her because she, like, not in a mean way, but she was just like, oh, she's just so cute, because that's exactly how she looks. Like, she looks cute, she looks tiny, like this teeny little drowning in her clothes. So I definitely do think that Mimi Cottrell accommodated her proportions a lot better, and kind of took her to a more like classical look as a stylist, which, led to her all the way through playing Glinda, very like 60s inspired. In fact, there was even a rumor that she wanted to play Audrey Hepburn, which was disproven later on. But also, though, like, we can say that Law Roach did definitely make her image famous. It made her iconic. Like everyone knows that look. Like it sparked so much discourse. Everyone was wearing oversized everything. And a lot of it was because of Ariana. Some looks that I really like of Law Roach was during the 2020 Grammy Awards on January 26th in Los Angeles, where she wore custom Giambattista Valli. Also her Heavenly Bodies look by Vera Wang at 2018 Met Gala was also very iconic. Ariana definitely has this fascination with old Hollywood is basically the point I'm trying to make. So Mimi really captured that moving forward from 2020. But I do want to see exactly how, now that, Law Roach did create that iconic style, very in for the times, for the trends that he was styling her in, how he is going to style her from 2025 forward with all these different trends that are coming up. So I guess we'll just have to see. All right, so our last story, Anna Wintour's Vogue cover. Anna Wintour's last September issue cover as editor-in-chief of Vogue came out. It featured Emma Stone. The cover story was photographed by Jamie Hawksworth, and Wintour, as we all know, is stepping down as editor-in-chief, but she will remain with Vogue as global editorial director and chief content creator at Condé Nast. So in the cover, very controversial, of course. Emma Stone is very reminiscent of Wintour's first Vogue cover. So let's go back in time. Come with me. Anna Wintour's first cover was shocking, though probably not through a modern lens. If you saw it today, you'd probably think there's nothing that crazy about this Vogue cover. But back in November 1988, Israeli model Michaela Berku posed on the cover with a bejeweled Christian Lacroix couture jacket and, shocking, a pair of jeans. Oh, scandalous. Almost every American Vogue cover from 1980 to 1988 was shot by Richard Avedon, where the models were against a plain studio background with this striking makeup and statement jewelry. The women were usually stiff, aloof, and very elegant. That was the look for those days. However, the magazine was in fear of losing its edge by the executives, so they wanted something new. They wanted something different. They wanted to take the magazine in a different direction, which is basically what I was alluding to with Chloe Malle, hoping that she can also take it into a new direction. I mean, it's cyclical, things become tired over time, especially when one person is at the helm. But by contrast to these, usual covers of Vogue, Wintour's cover featured the model looking off into the distance, so not straight on. Her hair is windswept. She's grinning. The imagery is very warm, youthful, and easygoing. It's shot by German photographer Peter Lindbergh, who took the cover photo and moved the model outside of the studio against that plain colored background into the real world. And through this, Wintour created a glamorous every woman. This unpretentious new energy was reflected in the cover line, Paris Couture, hot but not haughty. So basically what Anna Wintour did was she appealed to the masses, but she also created something aspirational, which maybe not everyone could, reach. But it was new, it was modern, it was warm, it was just more inviting, and it was just cooler overall. Originally, there was a matching suit skirt that was supposed to be in the cover instead of the jeans. Additionally, this was the first time that jeans were ever on a cover of Vogue, but the skirt actually didn't fit. So in 2012, Wintour clarified that the model had been on vacation back home in Israel and had gained a little weight. Not that that mattered. In fact, it only served to reinforce the idea to take couture's haughty grandeur and playfully throw it headlong into real life and see what happened. So the magazine's printers were so surprised by the cover that they actually called to see whether it had been a mistake or not. Now, fast forward to now, we see Emma Stone on the cover, crafted in this exclusive couture collection for Stone to wear for the fall issue. She's in jeans and a black armor style top, reminiscent of Wintour's first cover. Her hair is cut short for her upcoming movie, Begonia. Though reaction was not too positive. I get it. The cover is underwhelming. It just doesn't encompass that same big, free whimsy of Wintour's first cover. In fact, it almost hunches in on itself despite other shots throughout the magazine, throughout the same photo shoot that they took, that are really big and wide and encompassing. It's just, it's just underwhelming. I mean, I feel like if they had just put her into a different background like they did with some of those other pictures, it definitely could have been more reminiscent of the first shot. But alas, it was not much to the disappointment of many, many people. And maybe that is kind of the sign for Wintour to step down. I'm hoping to see exactly how does Anna Wintour's first and last Vogue cover compare to the new editor-in-chief's first Vogue cover. I think it'll basically signal the direction that Vogue is going in and exactly what we can expect from them in the future, whether they will continue to be the forerunners in fashion and the tastemakers in fashion. We just don't know. But thank you guys so much for joining me on this episode of Chic Happens. Please make sure to go to our Instagram, take a look. All of the images that we talked about from this episode will be up on there, along with other fashion news that we don't cover on the podcast. But again, thank you so much for tuning in. Love you guys. See you next one.